Electro. So we have discussed 4 units, and unit 5 we will discuss today. Unit 5 and 6 also. Am I audible to you all?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Unit 5 is a management of innovation. What is your perception about management? I have told you many times. Many times I have told you what is management. Yes, nobody has remembered. Get the work done systematically and scientifically with proper planning, coordination, and utilization of human resources and material resources to involving all these components to achieve the that is called your the quality. Have you remembered management? Management in uh, layman's point of view, it should say can get the work done. Get the work done. So in any organization, there is a management, a group of persons. They are doing their jobs, responsibilities, and every management has a goal. And the goal is here in the educational management, the achieve the quality. What is quality? What is quality? Anybody? Have you not remembered? What is quality? The concept of quality. Hello. Hello. Am I audible or not? Am I audible or not? Do you hear me or not?
Yes, sir, audible.
Audible. Then tell me what is quality? I have told you many times the fitness for the purpose. I have told you that quality is refers to fitness for the purpose. I have given so many examples. You have to certain things you have to remember as a result of which out of the particular concept you can elaborate and you can write something in the examination hall. So here today, in the today's evening, that management of innovation. What is the management? I have told you already, and the innovation. So change is the ultimate reality of various phenomena. So many things occurs around us, and the things that takes place around us is called your phenomena. That is the when the innovation, the particular concept comes to our mind, that means there is some change. Innovation means change of a concept or change of idea, change of practice in the educational system. The old age practice, old age ideas which was prevailing in the past, day by day or from time to time, you have come across that the various practices are changing. Suppose in the teaching learning process, that previously it was a teacher dominated class, then it became the learner centered approach. Now it is learning centered approach. Through activities, through various activities, the learners are allowed to develop their concept in the light of past experiences. So this is the change that takes place from time to time. That means new ideas, new practices, which is beneficial for the learner and to understand the learned material to retain for longer period. That's why in theory and practice you will have experienced or you have come across the various methods that is changing from time to time. Is it clear? The innovation, the concept of innovation, is it clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So previously it was the say the Ministry of Human Resources Development. So it is also now Ministry of Human Resources Development, and under Human Resources Development in the state of Odisha, there are two departments in the government: Department of Higher Education, Department of School and Mass Education. Department of Higher Education deals with human resources +3 above, and the Department of School and Mass Education deals with from class 1 to 12th. And also there is a Women and Child Development Department that deals with the preschool education, Anganwadi Center and etc. So these are the various programs they are launched from time to time, and that is called your innovations. And also after the independence, so many committees have been formed. Higher education, the school education commission 1964, 60 secondary education commission, a Kothari commission, uh, the 1986 new education policy, new policy on education, and 1992 the program of action with certain modification of NP 1986. Also, recently the NEP 2020 new education policy has been implemented since 2020, and over the years, before the independence and after the independence, you have experienced that how changes are taking place. Changes are taking place not for worse or better. Why changes are taking place, whether for better or worse? Yes, when changes take place to maintain the
For
quality
betterment.
for betterment.
Better.
Betterment for a better. So previously there was more dropouts. Now the dropout rate is very low. Previously there was wastage. Nowadays there is less percentage of wastage. So this is the scenario at the national level and at the state level. So that scenario is called the changing scenario. That is called your changing scenario. The changing scenario that takes place keeping in view the child's need and interest, and what does the child need? The child need many things. I have told you that an individual has how many qualities? Yes, how many qualities? How many qualities the individual has? Hello, tell me. You have not remembered, nor you have not noted it down. 25,000 qualities: cognitive, affective, psychomotor, social, spiritual, moral, and emotional. In all areas, an individual has 25,000 qualities. Besides that, there are challenged groups, physically challenged, and there are some abnormal slow learners, and so many or different types of individuals are there. So education addresses the issues of the different categories of learners. That's why we have introduced the inclusive education. So all these physically challenged or Divyangas are to learn among the normal groups. The purpose is that to socialize. If you isolate them, so they are segregated from the mainstream of the society. In order to bring them to the mainstream of the society, we have introduced the inclusive education. Is it all right? So these are called your innovations, and the innovations in education. Okay. Then in the innovative, what are the characteristics of innovations? That the system of environment is perceived by the individual better or than what is already in existence, a deliberately planned and not haphazard, contextual to local system and environmental conditions, capable of making unfamiliar as familiar, and sustainable for achieving the predetermined goal, positive in attitude, and something which results in improvement of the system. All these things. So if you sum up these all these characteristics, so the education should be contextualized. Means in different context, urban areas, rural areas, tribal areas, low economic group, high economic group, different culture, different society. So, what is the need of the children of the different society or different context? Suppose a fisherman community, he does not want to come to the school. How can you motivate them to come to the school? Because if you go on fishing the uh, fishing, and he will earn something. So nowadays also in 2020 NEP 2020, so the education is more emphasized for vocational streams. The skill oriented, and it is a planned way, it is a systematic way, it is a scientific way, and it is according to the environmental conditions. So, according to the environmental condition, the educational system changes from time to time. Okay. Now, the complexity, the cost, the another factor is there, that is sustainable development. The particular concept, that sustainable development, that you have come across the sustainable development. So education is meant for sustainable development. The sustainable development, it indicates that in the existing system, according to the changes in the technology and science, see, educational system should be changed for quality. to produce more in production, to increase the productivity. Always there should be increase in productivity. So what your prime minister, our prime minister has told that previously it was in economic condition, that is 10th position, now it is 5, and they also planned for the third position. So it is the education that makes the people, or makes the learners to face the challenge, and for the sustainable development. Is it clear or not? Sustainable development. Hello. Sustainable development, is it clear or not? Hello. Unless you interact, how can I know that you have understood? Dipti Rekha Naik, are you present? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Then have you
Yes,
understood
sir.
this sustainable development? Yes
Yes,
or
sir.
no? Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hmm. Then the innovation is one factor, is cost. Always we can calculate the cost analysis benefit. According to the financial condition of the country or the state, the education should be provided. Not only in the general education, but also in the technical or vocational education, there are innovations. And you will be astonished to know that there are some researches are going on in the various sectors, and accordingly, uh, we uh, are very much aware of the changes. I have told you that there is a plan for that from the sunlight they will produce the petroleum products, and it is now in extensively they are trying to be commercialized. So this is how much cost. There are some scientific projects are they conducted, are executed in the science exhibition, and they show certain projects, and but what the project they uh, just exhibit in the exhibition, that is costly. So that must be less costly, and according to the pocket of the or financial condition of the individual, there must be innovation, proper innovation. Then the complexity. There is, when the changes take place, always there is a complex in nature, because human behavior is very complex in nature. Nobody accepts a change immediately. So, to accept the change or innovation, you see, now is a digital learning. That is a smart class. Am I right or not? Am I right? So
Yes,
these
sir.
things are taking place. Those who are not, who have not access to the digital learning or the all sorts of electronic gadgets, they will definitely say that the changes that takes place or the innovations that takes place is useless. No, according to them that may be useless because they are not oriented with them, the traditional method, like chalk and talk method. But the moment you are very much accustomed with the digital learning, smart class, and the online class and other classes, then you will invite or you will appreciate the innovations. Then it must be visible. Whatever the changes that take place must be visible. It must be appreciated by all the individuals, all the learners. Suppose the traditional method of teaching and activity method of teaching. Is it visible? Activity method of teaching? Yes, it is visible. for the learners, for the teachers, and for the parents in terms of quality. So there must be divisibility. So there must be division, or one man cannot so do the all the innovations at a time. So while the online class going on or the digital class is going on, one must operate the computer and other things or PowerPoint, as a result of which, and one will explain. So this is called your division of labor, divisibility, so that the experts can handle the situation and they can explain the things. Then is called your compatibility. The learners to feel secure must be compatible. If they do not feel comfortable in the digital learning, whole learning process will be useless. If the teacher say that it is not compatible to him, that they are not able to adjust with the changing circumstances, the innovations, there must be compatibility. There must be utility. So, what the students will get out of it? Is it useful for them, or is it not useful? For to determine the utility of the various innovations, we must have to evaluate it. Get the feedback from the learners, get the feedback from the teachers, whether the digital learning or the smart learning, teaching learning process is effective or not, whether there is a quality learning in those innovations. Then the Educational Commission 1964, that is called 66 Kothari Commission. The Kothari Commission suggested that in 1964-66 there must be a common school system, that is 10 plus 2 plus 3. Okay, prior to that there must be ECE, early childhood education, from 3 to 6. And then there is also minimum levels of learning. Minimum levels of learning, that in terms of numeracy and literacy. Everybody has the minimum knowledge about the mathematics, about the number system, and about the languages, about the social science, about the science. Minimum knowledge which is applicable in the day-to-day life. So every day we come across with various events. So these events or these phenomena are based on the minimum levels of learning. For example, we wash our hand before take the foods. Why? Because of hygienic point of view. We also do many things for to maintain the hygienic conditions. Also, we uh, practice yoga for to make the body fit. So these are the inevitable. These things are to be inevitable. There's a minimum level of learning for the to keep your body and mind fit or healthy. We must get the minimum levels of learning in order to adjust to the society in the changing circumstances. Simply, suppose you hold the particular container, metallic container, with the empty hand, what will happen? What will happen? Suppose a metallic container is heated. Suppose the rice, boiling of rice, and you hold it with the by empty hand. What happens? Nothing will happen.
That will burn.
It will burn. So is that because it is a good conductor of heat and electricity? That's why I use some non-conductors. These are the minimum levels of learning. And that at what temperature the water begins to say boil or becomes a vapor. And what is the temperature of the body? That minimum temperature 98.4 degree Fahrenheit. So that is the minimum levels when you take care of your child and you also measure with the help of thermometer. That is the minimum levels of learning. So if it exceeds, when he is suffering from fever, if he exceeds 101, 2 like that, we should consult with physicians. Consult physicians. So these are the minimum levels of learning. So teaching learning strategy also has been developed due to the innovations. Previously, there was a chalk and talk method. There was a lecturing method, and in the teaching learning process, we are also using the teaching learning materials, audio materials, audio visual materials, like TV, like your digital equipments, like your the different the records. You record something and also produce it for the student. So using different electronic media, we also change the teaching learning practice, which are useful and interesting for the learners. Then three language formula. In the past, there was a one language formula. In the before independence, like that, and only the local language was learned by the learners. Now there are three languages: modern Indian languages, the library language English, and the national language Hindi. The three languages are taught to the school students. He must have a mastery over the three languages. So, why languages are necessary? Why languages are necessary? Languages are
For,
necessary to
for
communicate.
better communication.
Yes,
Better communication instruction.
yes, better for effective communication, for learning, for understanding. So that is why the language is a recommendation of the National Policy Education 1986. They also, what should be the prospective education? What should be the education should be activity oriented, like that I have told them 4 things on that day. Then implication of the innovations. So all these things that takes place, the NP or 10 plus 2 plus 3 system 1964-66 or 19 POE 1992, and all these things that has certain implications. When there is some problems, so a committee is formed, and a committee was formed to rectify the the system or the difficulties. The National Literacy Mission LM 1988, that was established 1988, National Literacy Mission. So everybody should learn to write and effectively. National Literacy Mission that was launched in the year 1988. In the past, some men are today even some persons are there, old persons, they do not know how to sign that name. Even they give thumb impression. So that's why that National Literacy Mission NLM was launched in the year 1988. That is called functional literacy. That in NLM is called functional literacy. Why is it called functional literacy? Suppose literacy not to know how to cultivate, but literacy means to know how to use the fertilizers, how to utilize the pesticides, and how to improve the agricultural system, that is functional literacy. So they can know all the things, because ours is a agricultural country, and most of the persons are depend on the agriculture. So the NLM in 1988 that implies that. In the Ramamurthy committee, they emphasized on women education, early childhood care education, child care program, common school system. So all the things that was done by recommended by Ramamurthy Katti. Jnana committee, that they have suggested that autonomy, participation, decentralization, planning and monitoring the university education, funds, university government relationship, role of central government, role of a university. So day by day, the function of a UGC, that is the role of a University Grant Commission, how the University Grant Commission gives funds to the colleges and universities for qualitative development. You now know the autonomy of the various colleges, autonomous colleges. They conduct their examination and also they publish their results. They also get funds from the center and the state. There is a committee, NAC, National Accreditation Committee, who recommended the university or the colleges like A plus, A plus, etc. Accordingly, the UGC gives grant according to the grade. So these are the recommendation of a Gyan committee. Then Sarva Shiksha Abhijan. Sarva Shiksha Abhijan was launched in the year 1902. Means everybody should learn. Every child, when he becomes age 3, should go to the early childhood center, that is Anganwadi center, and when he attends the age 6, he should be admitted in class 1. The non-child should be left. That is the purpose of Sarva Shiksha Abhijan. All should get education. So basic features of Sarva Shiksha Abhijan, DPP, was established. That is District Primary Education Program in 1990 to provide primary education in a district having lower literacy rate than the national literacy rate. Then Jaspal Committee in 1992, and also he has given national framework, curriculum framework 2005, Jaspal Committee. So he has given many suggestions that the discouraging the individual competition and awards, decentralizing the process of a curriculum, more freedom of voluntary organization, decentralization of BEd degree courses by correspondence, institutionalization of continuing education, review of a public examination, and so all these things have been given. Then e-learning. Also, he has there is a e-learning that you come across, the digital learning, e-learning, electronic learning through computer, through various channels. Also the e-learning takes place. There are various private bodies, they also provide e-learning to the young learners and the old learners. Then level of e-learning, knowledge database, online support, that is synchronous training, asynchronous training, all these things takes place. Then e-governance. Now the e-governance means there should be no the paperless work. There should not be there should be paperless work. So any letter that is sent by the government, that comes through e-dispatch. E-governance, that is the transparency. Not to bring the transparency, there is e-governance. Then
କାର୍ସରଟା
ହୁଁ।
କର୍ସରଟା ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ନାଲି ଉପରେ ରଖିକି
ହଁ
କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରିଦେଲେ କଟିଗଲା। କ୍ଲାସ୍
ଏଇଠି ତ Oh. Then virtual class. The virtual class also, there is a physical classroom situation and a virtual. Here we are in the virtual class. You are somewhere else and I am here. There is a distance. That is a virtual class. Virtual class is going on or online class is going on. So no physical presence of the teacher is necessary in the virtual class. So in the virtual class, there must be also interaction takes place, but I'm extremely sorry that you are not participating in the interaction. So there are some merits and demerits in the virtual class, but all the doubts cannot be clarified in the virtual class, but in the offline class, the most of the doubts are clarified in the classroom situation because the learners are physically present in the class and the what I say, the various doubts are clarified by the learners. Then you see one knowledge commission was established. The Prime Minister, Planning Chairman, Minister State, Minister of all the things that that enhancing access to knowledge. Is the knowledge is expanding every day, every moment. So enhancing the access to knowledge. Everybody should have right to access the knowledge because the change it takes place. So in America and different countries, sitting here, going through the website, going through the internet, we get knowledge. Then the creating favorable ecosystem for making India global leader of creation of knowledge. So we are trying that India should be best in the ecosystem and also it must be storehouse of knowledge. Promoting application of knowledge in sustainable development. I have told you the sustainable development in the existing system, the changes should be invited and accordingly we have to incorporate the changes in the development, the science and changes in science and technology. Inclusive growth using knowledge and application delivery. So inclusive growth means growth in all sectors, not in a particular sector. That is called inclusive growth. Growth in agriculture sector, growth in the industrial sector, growth in the animal and husbandry sector, growth in coal sector, mine sector, and that is inclusive. All are related to each other, so there must be inclusive growth in economy. Then sensitize management of education to our unique social cultural situation by the including Indian specifications. So we have to inculcate there are managements at different points, school management, and the schools are managed by the block education officer, district education officer, and at the secretariat level there are some officers. So all should know what is the system, what is going on. For the teacher education, that also comes under SCRT, and SCRT has shifted the responsibility to the higher education. So in this way that is going on. So there is also open and distance education. In the open and distance education, everybody has access to study. In the open and distance education, IGNOU is the largest university in the world in respect of in relation to open and distance education. So it can reach to all categories of learners and to inaccessible areas. So the credit system is given. So there is a support system activity in OD. That is a committee for regulation of OD and etc. Then this is the unit. Then let us come to the issues and educational management. What are the issues in the educational management? Issues in educational management in the formal sector, non-formal sector, government sector, non-government sector, etc. So let us think of what are the formal sectors. The formal sectors are the formal education. The schools and colleges are formal sectors, which have the fixed timetable, fixed curriculum, and fixed teaching hours, and fixed teachers are to teach different subjects. So more or less students are teachers are fixed, timetable is fixed, there is no deviation. Chemistry lecturer cannot teach history, history lecturer cannot teach physics, and so on and so forth. So also in the schools, the mathematics science teacher cannot teach the Odia or English language subject and other subjects. This is how the uh, this is called your formal sector of management. In formal sector of management, there is a set of rules, regulations, planning, controlling, and so many things are in the formal sector of management. So, what are the issues then? The issues are that in the issues we can say uh, the Education Commission, Mudalari Commission 1952-53 suggested 11 years of schooling. In our system, we have received 11 years of education, 11 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2. 64, 66, 10 plus 2 plus 2, 3. So, in this way, you will find that the school education and also the university and college educations are different, and these structure in education, there is an issue. While changing of structure of education, the at the outset educationists and learners are not in a position to accept all these things. So, what is the issues then? Issues is that when there is a dearth of in the pre-primary education, because the linking preschool system, the primary and elementary school system, the teacher training programs, preschool teacher and other functionaries, recognition of a teacher training program, linkage between early childhood and etc. Primary and elementary education also that is linked with the secondary education. The issues are confronting primary school and country are above. What are the issues? Issues are the lack of infrastructure and instructional materials. Adequate teachers are not available in the both the primary school, elementary or primary schools, which is called class up to class 8 nowadays. And you will find that teachers with science background, they teach also Odia and other subjects. Even the PT also teach the mathematics and science. This is the scenario in the state and all over the country. So adequate teachers or manpower are not available like your health sector. Adequate physicians are not available, as a result of which the health facility does not reach to the ground zero. So also the in the elementary stage there is a school, but there is no adequate infrastructure. Every class has no separate building. There is no library. If there is a library, there is no books, less number of books. The books are not computerized, and there is no library, separate librarian. And so many problems. So you will find about the human resources or instructional materials. The issues are there, so the students suffer. Then one thing is there is our constitution says our education commission has says 4 things that one should have access to the school education. That every primary school should be within 3 kilometers. Every secondary school should be within 5 kilometers. Not more than 3 kilometers, the child should go to the school. But really that does not happen in the inaccessible area. So every child should have access to the school. And there is also every child have the right to be retained to complete the particular level. If it is a primary school or elementary level, he must complete the class 8 or class 5, like that, wherever it is applicable. And also reduce the dropouts. So no child should leave the school. Why the child leaves the school? The child leaves the school because the school atmosphere is not conducive, is not favorable at all. As a result of which the child leaves the school. Because there is some psychological fear in the classroom situations. And whatever the psychological fear it may be, that in the psychological security should be guaranteed, should be given to the child. As a result of which he must be free from all sorts of stress and strain. Then there must be proper equipment. In the blackboard operation, if you ask question asks blackboard operation means the blackboard means there must be in each class there must be blackboard, must be a teacher, must be adequate teaching learning materials. Then there must be equality. There is no discrimination. All have the equality of opportunity to get education. There must be equity. Means particularly the girl child should have the access to the school. But in our country, what happens in the rural area that the parents do not want to send their children, girl children, to the school. Rather, they are very much interested to send their children to the school. Nowadays, also the concept has been changed. So equity should be maintained. Both the male and female have equal power and equal rights and duties, etc., and equal right to get the education. No girl child should be left to get education. That is equity. Then better infrastructure and human resources, I have told you. Provision of quality teaching and learning resources, I have told you. There must be proper learning materials, audio materials, visual materials, audio visual materials, charts, and maps, etc., psychological laboratory, and science laboratory, so that the child can get a chance to conduct the various experiments and can get the knowledge. And particularly, all the subjects should have a laboratory: mathematics laboratory, science laboratory, geography laboratory, history laboratory, language laboratory. So what happens if we set up the laboratory in every subject? When language laboratory are established in all the schools, the child who is not able to speak something, he can develop the speaking power and also communicate effectively. So that is the purpose of the language laboratory. And how to pronounce the word correctly, perfectly, how to communicate or interact with others. This is the purpose of the language laboratory. And the attention paid to the management structure and institutional capacity building. So how the capacity will be building up a capacity of the teacher, building up a capacity of the management. That is in the school, there is a parent teachers association, there is a SMDC, school management developed committee. So now all the schools, though there is a parent teachers association, though no parents are involved in the system, have to bring quality. In the SMDC, no parents, no the management particularly are worried about the systemic reform or quality education. Rather, they are very much interested for power and position. Who will the secretary, who will the president, and how to grasp the money if the government aids comes to this particular school. This is the scenario in all the political people also they support to this affair, and that's why in Odisha and in all over the country that happens. And the management informal system, the community mobilization. The community should be mobilized. Suppose there is no classroom, the students are reading under the tree. What is to be done? In the community, there are some rich people, and the teachers and the headmaster and the management should mobilize the community and also request the community to extend their helping hand for development of the infrastructure of the institution, as a result of which that institution will be attractive. So this is uh, the what I have told you, the issues, the secondary and the senior secondary education, there is also higher secondary education or senior secondary education, also Adarsh Vidyalaya, also the your Adarsh school, and so many schools are there in class 12. But what is the result? That all the Mudalera Commission and the 64-66, all the commissions have recognized, opined about uh, the education should be qualitative one. And also there is the vocational education. Vocational education means the education which provides vocation like engineering and medical science, pharmacists, and other educational institutions. After getting the education, and one will be able to maintain his livelihood. But there is a vocationalization of education. There is a difference between vocational education and vocationalization of education. Means education should be vocationalized. As 2020, they have suggested that education must be vocationalization of education from class 6, skill oriented. So all types of skills, maybe in a minor trade or major trade, they must be trained, and so that the education shall be qualitative one. Then what are the issues? Issues are there are vocational educations in Odisha, vocational education institutions, but even government has opened all the vocational education in the state of Odisha, but there is no vocational teachers to teach them. electronic trade or different trades are there, but there is no teacher. How can they learn all these things? There is no question. So this is how, unless we can renovate the temples, we can renovate many things, but we are not concerned about to renovate the educational system. That is the whole pity with us. Then higher education also, there are no lecturers, less number of lecturers, 50% or 60% vacancy in all the higher educational institutions, and how the students will develop the skills and learn the higher education. And also in medical science, you will come across with every day that no adequate, so many medical colleges are there. There are 13 medical colleges in Odisha. But no, not a single medical college is well equipped, even SCB medical college. All some are regular teachers, professors are associate professor like that, and others are contractual. So the moment they are appointed as a contractual lecturer, a contractual physicians, or any other engineering department like the uh, national level at Raurkela, and also there is a university, engineering university at Bhubaneswar. So many universities are there. So you see, why such things happens? Because of the lack of equipments, lack of manpower, and those even appointed the manpowers, they are also not willing to work. They have no positive thinking towards education and towards their learners. So all these things are the issues that you are no technical professional education, structure of technical education, management of technical education, how the IT, IIT, ISC, IAMS, NIE, and so many managements are there. The National Knowledge Education Commission (NKC) was formed. Now it became defunct. It is the source of knowledge. A central legislative right to education, backed by financial commitment, more flexibility, disbursement of funds, decentralization and greater local autonomy, expansion of functional literacy, planning for schools infrastructure, enabling the regulating mechanism for private schools. Oh, so many things are there, and I will go through it. So, this is the Unit 6 that I have covered. In the non-formal sector, uh, there is no fixed curriculum, and the NGOs. There was a non-formal education center previously. It has been already lifted. Already the schools have been abolished, and there are three types of education: formal education, non-formal education, and informal education. Informal education, you know it. In the non-formal education, is no fixed time, but there is a curriculum. There is a curriculum, but there is no fixed time. But everybody has access to learn all these things. In informal education, informal sector, there is partly responsible to educate the learners and partly not responsible to educate the learners. So all these things are there. So I think if you got the book, will go through it, and it is the only repetition of these things. Today, I don't want to take more time because of some problems. Now I want to wind up this session. Thank you very much for listening to the class. Now drop the class.
Thank you so much, sir.
So